My name is Christopher Brown, RPT. I'm a piano technician, member of the Piano Technicians Guild, and my company is TPR Tools. I've developed a suite of tools specifically to address problems working on grand piano actions, and the heartbeat of this suite of tools is a hammer square. It appears to be simple, but it serves a very sophisticated purpose of making piano hammers vertical upon strike. This improves tone, power, and repetition in a grand piano action. Before squaring your hammers, it's important to do your traveling, because traveling is done with shims. I use Avery labels stripped and come off in little pieces like that. You want a reference for vertical. The tradition is to employ something like this and compare the hammers to each other and take the ones that go to the right and the ones that go to the left and shim them so that they're all parallel to each other. But it's important that they also be vertical. So at least take a couple of samples with a square and test them for vertical. When you travel them, you employ a shim in the flange, which will improve the travel of the shank, but it will change. The shim is on the bass side, so this will slightly tilt the hammer that way. So you want to do your traveling first, and then you're ready to square. This is showing a setup that you can do in the shop. This action was actually prepared on a regulation station with all the advantages of a squaring platform and a regulating rack to set the strike. But in this case, you can come very close with setting up a platform such that the hammers are held so that the shank is in line with the flange. That's approximately the way it will be in the piano. It needs to be level this way and this way. And for that, I employ a digital angle gauge. I'm going to turn it on. And we'll just have a look at the way things are. Okay, so this is actually reading 0. And that is reading, pretty close. Not quite 0. I'm going to start with this end here. I just have a parallel jawed clamp and a piece of wood that is of a useful size and flat. And okay, as you can see, that's pretty close to 0. I'm going to zero this out, and then I'm going to put it up on here, and I'm going to slightly loosen my clamp. There we go. There. That's very close. These are tenths of a degree. And then I'll check it out from the other direction. I'm going to zero it here. And then check it out up here. And I would, to make it perfect, this again is a tenth of a degree, and it's plus or minus probably 2/10 of a degree in accuracy, so we're closest down it. But you'd adjust your shimming so that the platform is level both ways. Then this becomes a reference for vertical. The sides of it are vertical. You insert it over a hammer and sight down the line of the hammer, and you can see the tail and the crown and judge the squareness or lack of squareness of that hammer. If this were unsquare, you would remove the hammer square, take your heat gun, and you would go back and forth. It takes about 20 seconds for the wood to sufficiently heat up. Now I'm going to actually make this unsquare, this demonstration, so you will see that it, and then re-square it. When it hits that 20-second mark or so, the wood becomes compliant, and it will, if you have a look, it's now out of square. Now I'm going to put it back into square. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's probably already got some residual heat. Okay. And how do we like the look of that? It's pretty darn good. But anyway, you can fine tune it. While the shank is still warm, you can push and pull a little. Now you've got a lot of leverage here, but push and pull a little bit to fine tune it. And you just go from one to the next. You try the next. You see how you like it. You adjust it as needed. Go to the next. Now when you're through with this, always put your heat gun on cool so you don't burn out your engine. When you're all done with that, you can remove this and use the traditional method to fine tune it and then come back and true it up. But you will get 90% of the way there in the first pass if you do your traveling first, then your squaring, then your spacing. For $85,